Dile que tú eres mía, mía, tú sabes que eres mía, mía, tú misma lo decías cuando yo te lo hacía.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Unrooted Men's Soccer Edition, and my guest for this week's show is none other than junior defenseman on the men's soccer team here at Menlo College, Jose Fimbres. Jose, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's start by talking a little bit about yourself now. You've earned a reputation on this team as being one of the most laid-back individuals. At least that's what everyone else has said on this show. How much do you enjoy putting the fun in everything that you do?
I'm really like an open-minded guy. I don't really like to be awkward around people. I really hate being like the type of boring person. So that's probably why I like being very fun and open-minded to other people. Like even on game days, like I'm always like dancing, vibing with the music, making sure other people aren't as nervous as like to be going into a game. So I think that's just the part of person I am.
Yeah. I like how you said you don't like being awkward around people, because I enjoy being awkward around people. It's actually kind of fun to be awkward around other people, right? In a way?
It depends on the situation. You don't really want to be awkward like around your teammates, because that's just kind of weird.
Well, then they make fun of you for it, and then you get answered on brownie bites later on down the road.
Yeah,
so that's how it goes. Now, this season, you've been the primary penalty kick taker for the Oaks. You've made 3 on the year. It might seem fairly simple for folks at home, but what goes into a legit threat on a penalty kick?
It's all about having the mindset of wanting to score and being able to be confident in yourself that you're going to score this penalty. It's also like, I always think of myself as shooting a PK before games start, like, because I know we have a lot of opportunities to get a penalty because of our forwards, like Eric Hegman or even Evan. Like they always get a lot of opportunities to drop down in the box, and it's always like I always think of myself which way I'm gonna shoot before even starting the game. I already have the mind of which way I'm going to shoot. So it's just like a really, really good thing to know about yourself.
That was going to be the follow-up question I had, was how do you determine left, right? Like, is there something the goalie does that might throw that off? But if you're making up the decision before the game.
I always like going to my left side. I think that's just like I shoot more harder on my left side.
Well, I hope Vanguard isn't watching this game, because maybe you're going to go right. Maybe you're saying that and then you go right. Maybe you could be fooling everybody.
Yeah, it depends.
We'll never know. So let's talk a little bit about the team now, Jose. Last week, the Oaks bounced back, got a big pair of wins, including one in conference play against William Jessup University. What really helped the team get some focus back this past week?
I mean, I honestly think that we've been focused all season, but the fact that we knew that how important these 3 points were against William Jessup were, and the fact that we needed this win to have a secured spot into the GSAC playoffs, that's what really helped us stay focused for the game.
Now you guys have that playoff spot, and you're looking to potentially either host a playoff game or get a first round bye. We'll talk a little bit more about that. What do you think about the ability of some of the guys on the back line, Axel Helmertz, Alex Avila, and their ability to prevent other teams from scoring? I know you're on the back line with them, but they are just some of the most physical players in the entire conference.
I mean, it's been a real pleasure playing alongside Alex and Axel. Like, Alex's physicality and Axel's technical skills really help the back line stay composed and preventing from other opponents scoring against us. And I think that's really what helps us be so strong in the back.
How much of what they do have you tried to piggyback off of with your game?
I mean, I really like seeing them as my role models in the game, because if I get like taken on, like it's gonna happen, I get taken on by a forward like against in a game, I trust that Axel and Alex are gonna be behind me to pick them off and stuff.
For sure. Yeah. Now, with the season coming to a close, you guys know that you're 4th place in the standings. How often is that brought up during practices and meetings?
To be honest, it's not really brought up as often during our meetings. Just the fact that Coach Keith wants us to be more focused on ourselves and into the next game. I mean, he always has that mentality of telling us to treat the next game like it's the biggest game of the season, no matter what position we are in the table. I mean, we are aware of that we're in a very like high seed into the table, but that's just not going to stop us from focusing on the next game.
Now, Saturday is the season finale, the regular season finale. The Oaks take on Hope International University, the last game at home for 9 Menlo seniors. How tough is it going to be to celebrate what they've done in their careers, but also knowing you have to then get refocused because there's a very important game on the line?
I personally think that it's not going to be as tough as it seems. just the fact that we know how important this game is, and like the seniors also know how important it's going to be. Maybe we can celebrate after the game, but to be like during the game, we have to be dialed in, and that's going to matter at most part. And hopefully we can send the seniors off with being conference champions and a huge win at home.
Exactly, and then you can celebrate after the game, and everything's going to be fine.
There you go.
All right, Jose, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 off-the-wall questions. Give me your best answers. Question number 1, which teammate is the most difficult to make laugh?
So this was kind of like a really hard question to answer, because I was even going around asking the guys, like, who do you guys think is the most difficult to make laugh? And I actually figured that out today.
Really?
So we were at practice, me and Alex were messing around with the ball, and Alex flicked the ball up and it hit William in the head. Like, not that hard, but it just like light tap. And me and Alex were just busting out laughing, and William was just serious. And I was just like, I found the guy. That's my answer.
Well, he's the one who's getting whacked with a ball, so obviously that's...
I mean, if it were me, I would probably like giggle a little bit, laugh, because it was funny, but no emotion at all.
That's funny. I would have thought, and again, I'm not around you guys as often as you are, obviously, but I would have thought Alex. I really would have thought Alex.
I mean, he's like around me and like other guys, I think he's a goofball. I can see it. Like, he's always making like these weird jokes around us, and it's just, I don't think he's as hard to make laugh.
So once you become very personal with him, you get to that level.
Yeah,
okay. Question number 2. Halloween is 1 week away, so who's going to have the best Halloween costume?
So it was a hard decision, because I know these 2 of our teammates was David Kinnear and Brett Fitzpatrick. So David Kinnear is going to be Zeus. And you know how he has such long hair? Like, he already looks like a god to me. So it's pretty funny.
Okay.
And Brett Fitzpatrick is thinking about being Keith, Coach Lambert.
How's he going to pull that off?
Because we're always joking around with the guys that Keith is Brett's dad for some reason, because I think they look alike.
The only way that I could see that being true is in the hair.
Yeah, that's what we say.
So if Brett, so Brett, because he kind of parts his to the side, right?
Yeah.
So if Brett goes straight back on it a little bit, I think he could maybe pull it. He's gonna have to shave.
Yeah, for sure.
Shave, maybe put on a little extra muscle, maybe, or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, that's, I've never actually thought about that, Brett and Keith, but
it's gonna be funny.
That should be great. I can't wait to see it. And then question number 3, if you could go on a comedy tour with one teammate, who would it be?
I chose Fernando, just because we're always messing around with each other, throwing jokes at each other, and even other guys, like, we always team up on other guys and just make fun of them and stuff. So I'd pick Fernando for that one.
All right, Jose, thanks for joining me on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, folks. The men's soccer team wrapping up the 2018 regular season at home this weekend. They take on Hope International University on Saturday. A start time of 1:30, Senior Day festivities for the Nine Oaks seniors to come just prior. And we won't know until after Saturday's game whether the Oaks are hosting a playoff game in the GSAC or if they get a first round bye and they will skip the first round altogether. Well, that'll do it for our 2018 season of Unrooted Men's Soccer edition. Jose Fimbres is the last guest on the show, so we thank all the men's soccer players for their cooperation this season and for being great guests here on Unrooted. We'll have one episode of Cross Country next week, and then the following week we roll into winter sports, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's wrestling. You won't want to miss those episodes. So until then, we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.
Dile que tú eres mía, mía, tú sabes que eres mía, mía, tú misma lo decías cuando yo te lo hacía.